Okay, this is piece 32, the Tomb of the Triclinium, and it is the third and last of our Etruscan pieces. Please note, I added this in, but I didn't add it to every one of my slides. The Tarquinia, Italy is a location. So the Etruscans is the culture. This is the time period, the materials, and this is location. If you want to have all of those identifiers accurate, you can see I'm trying to make sure my identifiers are accurate. Okay, so we'll start with form. This is a single room and it has a checkered ceiling. And then we have lines along the back wall and along the side wall that serve as register lines for the paintings that are frescoes. And in the paintings, we have scenes of a banquet and dancing going on. All right. In terms of context, this is northern Italy, modern day northern Italy, the northern Italian peninsula is the location for where the Etruscans lived. And more context, you've seen these before in the sarcophagus of the spouses. This is one of the tombs that would be found in the necropolis, which is like a cemetery, but the technical definition is city of the dead. And so these tombs were created, and they're not small. They're 130 feet in diameter and 50 feet high. And you can see this gentleman going down into one that is open to tourists. I should say that there are many of these that have not been opened up to people and haven't been excavated, but scientists have used periscopes to go down into these to look around at what's in them. And so from this high-tech excavation of periscopes, we know a lot more about these tombs in this necropolis. Okay, the function of it is that it is a burial chamber. And so in the burial chamber, so this is our piece, in the burial chamber, there would have been a sarcophagus like our sarcophagus of the spouses. This is another view of one for you. And you can see here that this is where, in this one, the sarcophagi would have been placed. And then in all of these tombs, there were all the goods that a person would need in the afterlife. It's almost like a total recreation of the houses of the Etruscans: chairs, food, tables, whatever was needed was placed inside these tombs. The content of this piece is that, okay, so let's start at the top. We have this checkerboard pattern, and this reminds me of like a tent. You can see these, we put them up outside for shade, but this would have been an outdoor tent that Etruscans would have used for celebration. So this is a mock-up of that. And then a triclinium, we see here, this is like a Roman dining room, and you see these couches. You can't see this one because it's been damaged, but you get the idea. There are couches here, and these people aren't reclining on them so much, but we know that this is where they're banqueting. And then interesting, underneath the couches, this is an animal. This is a chicken, a rooster, a bird, and they're probably scavenging food from this delicious banquet. And so all of this is in honor of the dead. So big celebration when someone dies. And we can see that here, so side wall right here, you can see people are dancing in both sides. And so let's look closely here at this one. Notice the background is not super duper fancy. I mean, I think the bird is pretty fancy, but the tree is not very elaborate. But it does demonstrate liveliness. And I think it was 2% of the tombs that have been looked at with periscopes or opened up, there is painting on the wall. Painting on the wall is done in a fresco. A fresco is where we have a wet wall. Imagine like if you, well, you just have the, oh, for goodness sake, um, this, the tufa that it's made out of, which is kind of a volcanic material. Imagine it's applied wet, and then before it dries, you do the painting in the wet tufa. That's a fresco. And so when the tufa dries, the paint is dried solid in the tufa, and so it lasts then for a really long time. So frescoes are pretty popular. Um, but not many people would have the wealth to afford a fresco. So like 2% of the tombs have this sort of elaborate painting going on. Those that do have this elaborate painting, so I want to show you, this is our piece, and here is a better color version of it, which I want you to see because I think our piece by the College Board doesn't show, I think, very well the different color skin. So this is a woman and this is a man, and you can see that different color skin here, and that's apparently what is being shown is their gender. So this is dark skin, male, light skin, female. Interesting Etruscan painting. So not very elaborate background, use of register, and different color skin for genders. And that is the Tomb of the Triclinium.